Hi.
I have two questions. First of all, what is our outlook for the future on this particular timeline we're on? And second, how do we change the timeline to a different timeline?
Okay, very good question. When we took the Advanced Chronovisor probe from ITT Defense Communications in Nutley, New Jersey, and I know it was the first Friday in November of '71. I looked and it was November 5th of 1971. We were dressed in specialized equipment to protect us, a crystal helmet, a titanium-covered sort of space suit, and they turned the device on and we disappeared from the stage. My father was watching. We traveled for about a half hour to 2013 through the sort of the quantum plenum again, and we were trained that when we felt 3 pulses, we should look quickly to our left and our right, and what I saw below me was the U.S. Supreme Court building underwater. I was in the water and it was deeper, so it was like diving on a marine artifact of the U.S. Supreme Court building after a major catastrophe. We were then brought back. I was disrobed from the suit. They actually poured my boots out on the stage. I don't know whether that was water that had infiltrated from where they sent me. I don't think so. It may have just been perspiration from the heat of the device. On that timeline in 2013, in that probe to the future, the U.S. East Coast was inundated. So there was some kind of catastrophic event. A meteor strike, a limited nuclear war, global warming going critical, or even that 100 million tons of rock that's sitting over on the island of Las Palmas in the Canary Islands. And if that calves off and plops into the Atlantic, we're going to be hit by a 2,000-foot tidal wave traveling at 600 miles per hour. Okay, the East Coast is. So we have to be mindful of the negative futures that were modeled or visited in Pegasus. But that is contradicted by the fact that when they physically sent me forward in time, not just through physio-virtual time travel, but they physically sent me through the Stargate at Cerritos in '72 to pick up the microfilmed summaries of future events, 2045 was totally functional, and there had not been a catastrophe, at least in the Southwest, because I believe we were being sent to a Southwest location. So we have to be mindful of the fact that the technology was sampling different outcomes on different timelines, and they weren't entirely in control of the data and what it showed. So my point there is, nonetheless, they've spent trillions of dollars developing a continuity of government system in the American Southwest, so they know that at least on one major timeline that there could be such an event. What we can do about it is imagine the future we want to live and then energetically pursue it and share it with others. My own thought is that I don't believe the people of this time-space location, and I mean that both in the American people right now and the people of the world, I don't think they deserve mass catastrophe. So I'm simply encouraging people to visualize a 2012 that's characterized by not the end of the world, but the beginning of the future. So I think we can just imagine the future we want, as much as possible, imagine the future that we want to inhabit. But my own personal conviction is that that data from 2013 was from another timeline, because if you think of most people on the planet right now, I think they're pretty nice people, and I don't think they deserve such a 2012.
I just have one other question. So the last question I have is then, if there's a different timeline, then there's potentially different people on that timeline than there are on this timeline.
Different people?
Yeah, maybe people who have passed, people who are coming. I mean,
yeah, and we don't know what karmic lessons needed to, we don't know what higher forces are at work betwixt and between different timelines. So in fact, that goes to my point that I don't think on this timeline experiencing a planetary catastrophe that would inundate the east coast of the United States by 100 feet of water is a karmic lesson that this group of human beings needs to learn. I just don't get that impression.
So we can change the future by dreaming it.
Not only dreaming it, but also by continuing to be positive, constructive people, because, I mean, just philosophically speaking, I mean, the book of Isaiah suggests that people get what they deserve. So if we basically comport ourselves in a way in which we're not in a generation that doesn't deserve to see mass catastrophe, there may be an ethical dimension too, where we're good enough people and we end up not having to learn the karmic lessons of whatever that catastrophe was that was seen in that, the results of which were seen in that particular chronovisor probe. So I think it's pretty complex. It's what we apprehend of the future. It's based on living good lives, and also just recognizing that just because it was seen on one timeline doesn't mean we have to become obsessed by the negativity of that, because if we do, we may in fact end up implementing some of these things that were seen from other timelines by giving it too much energy. Thank you.